your trash can is holding a secret that could save your plants, protect your wallet, and completely change the way you look at your kitchen waste. Every single day, millions of households throw away ordinary items that possess incredible, natural powers to fertilize soil, repel destructive pests, and cure stubborn plant diseases. We have been conditioned to believe that the only way to grow a beautiful garden or run a successful farm is to buy expensive, chemical-heavy bottles from the garden center. But the truth is that the ultimate pharmacy for your soil is already sitting right inside your pantry. When you rely on synthetic sprays, you often end up trapped in a frustrating cycle of spending more money every season just to replace what died or to fix soil that has become completely lifeless. Breaking that cycle does not require a massive budget or a degree in agricultural science, because nature has already provided everything you need to cultivate a thriving, vibrant green paradise right where you are. Before we dive into these incredible secrets, I want to take a quick moment to welcome you into our growing family. If you want to stop wasting your hard-earned money on chemical solutions and instead learn how to cooperate with nature, take a brief second to subscribe to this channel so we can keep sharing these timeless remedies together every week. While you are doing that, please drop your location down in the comments below, whether you are shouting out your specific city, a quiet countryside village, a busy district, or your beautiful country. It is genuinely breathtaking to see our community come together from all corners of the globe, and knowing exactly where you are gardening helps me tailor these natural solutions to the climates and soils you are working with every single day. We are all in this together, and seeing your locations reminds us that whether we are tending a single pot or a massive field, we are part of one big, global family of earth lovers. Let us start with something that almost every single household throws away every morning without a second thought, and that is ordinary, dried coffee grounds. If you look inside your kitchen filter after brewing your morning cup, you are looking at a goldmine of structural nutrition and natural pest defense. Most people assume that once the flavor is extracted, the grounds are useless, but they still contain a significant amount of nitrogen, potassium, and magnesium locked inside those tiny, dark grains. The basic science here is wonderfully simple because as coffee grounds decompose, they gently feed the soil microbes, improve the overall tilth of your earth, and create a subtle, acidic environment that certain plants absolutely crave. Furthermore, the rough, abrasive texture of dried grounds feels like walking on broken glass to soft-bodied pests like slugs and snails, while the residual aroma naturally deters curious neighborhood cats and burrowing pests. To prepare this remedy for a small home garden or balcony pot, all you need to do is spread your used coffee grounds flat on a baking sheet or a piece of newspaper and let them dry completely in the sun until they feel light and crumbly. If you try to use them while they are still wet and clumpy, they will form a thick, nasty crust on top of your soil that actually blocks water and oxygen from reaching the roots, which is the exact opposite of what we want. Once they are dry, a home gardener can simply take a handful and gently scratch it into the top 2 inches of soil around hungry plants, like tomatoes, roses, or blueberries. For a small to medium-scale farmer looking to apply this across a larger area, you can partner with local coffee shops to collect large buckets of grounds. Spread them thinly across your rows before a light cultivation, or blend them directly into your compost piles at a ratio of about 20% of your total pile volume. The best time to apply this is early in the morning, during the spring and early summer, when plants are actively pushing out new, deep green leaves. You only need to do this about once a month, because a little bit goes an incredibly long way, and overdoing it can throw off your soil balance. But here is where it gets really interesting, because the perfect companion to your morning coffee remedy is actually waiting inside your refrigerator egg carton. Clean, crushed eggshells are an absolute miracle worker for anyone dealing with blossom end rot on their tomatoes or weak, floppy stems on their pepper plants. When you crack an egg into the frying pan, you are holding a nearly pure shell of calcium carbonate, which is the exact building block that plants use to construct strong, cellular walls. Without enough calcium, the cell walls inside a growing vegetable will literally collapse under the weight of their own growth, leaving you with ruined, black-bottom produce that ends up in the compost bin. To unlock this calcium, you cannot just throw whole shells into the dirt, because they will take years to break down on their own. Instead, rinse your empty shells thoroughly with water. To remove any leftover egg white, let them dry completely until they are brittle, and then crush them into a fine, powdery dust using a kitchen blender, a mortar and pestle, or even a heavy rolling pin inside a cloth bag. The finer the powder, the faster the soil can absorb it. For the backyard gardener or kitchen herb grower, you take 2 tablespoons of this fine eggshell dust and mix it directly into the planting hole when you are setting out new seedlings, or sprinkle it in a protective ring right around the base of established plants. If you are a farmer managing an acre of heavy-feeding crops, you can broadcast this powder across your beds before spring planting, or mix it into a liquid soil drench by combining the powder with a weak natural acid, like raw apple cider vinegar, which instantly neutralizes and solubilizes the calcium for immediate root uptake. Apply this remedy once at the start of the planting season, and then refresh it lightly every 6 weeks as the plants begin to heavy fruit. It works miracles when done during the cool evening hours, allowing the moisture of the night to help settle the mineral dust into the earth. Your grandmother probably knew this next one, but somehow it got forgotten along the way as flashy commercial products took over the shelves. I am talking about ordinary, unsulfured blackstrap molasses, which you can find tucked away in almost any grocery store baking aisle. This thick, dark syrup is not actually meant to feed the plant itself, but rather to feed the invisible army of beneficial bacteria and fungi living inside your dirt. When you pour a highly concentrated, carbon-rich sugar source into the ground, the soil microbes experience a massive population boom, instantly accelerating the breakdown of organic matter and unlocking trapped nutrients that were previously unavailable to your root systems. Healthy microbe-rich soil has a distinct, sweet, earthy smell that tells you your plants are completely protected from root rot diseases. To whip up a batch of this microbial superjuice, dissolve 2 tablespoons of blackstrap molasses into 1 gallon of lukewarm water, stirring vigorously until the thick syrup is completely incorporated and the water turns a deep, amber-brown color. For a home gardener with a few raised beds or container plants, you can pour this solution directly into a watering can and drench the soil around your plants until it completely soaks into the dry earth. If you are a medium-scale farmer dealing with large fields, you can scale this up by mixing 1 cup of molasses for every 20 gallons of water, filtering it carefully, and running it directly through your drip irrigation lines, or utilizing a backpack sprayer to coat your fields. This drench should be applied once every 3 weeks, preferably late in the afternoon, just as the sun is setting, because soil microbes are highly sensitive to intense ultraviolet light and will multiply much more effectively during the dark, humid hours of the night. Most people throw this next item away without realizing what it can do for their plants, especially when dealing with annoying fungal infections, like powdery mildew, which leaves a white, ghostly dust across your beautiful green leaves. The secret weapon here is nothing more than plain, liquid milk from your refrigerator, and it does not even matter if it is slightly past its expiration date. Milk contains specific proteins and natural sugars that, when exposed to direct sunlight, create a powerful, natural antiseptic effect that safely destroys fungal spores without harming the plant tissues. It also acts as a brilliant foliar fertilizer, giving the leaves a gentle boost of micronutrients that leaves them looking glossy and deep green. To make this natural fungicide, mix 1 part milk with 9 parts water inside a clean spray bottle or bucket, shaking it well to ensure it is thoroughly diluted. If you use it entirely undiluted, it will smell sour and attract unwanted flies, so keeping that ratio precise is highly important. A backyard gardener can take their spray bottle and thoroughly coat the tops and bottoms of all the leaves on their zucchini, cucumbers, or roses until the liquid is dripping off the tips. For a farmer looking to protect a large patch of vulnerable crops, this mixture can be scaled up into large barrels and applied using a tractor sprayer or an industrial backpack mister. The absolute best time to apply this milk spray is right in the middle of a bright, sunny morning, because the sunlight is the literal catalyst that activates the milk proteins to fight off the fungus. Repeat this application once every 2 weeks as a preventative measure, or every 3 days if you are already fighting an active fungal outbreak after a heavy summer rainstorm. Now, if you have ever stepped into your garden only to find your prize crops covered in a sticky, crawling mess of aphids, mites, or whiteflies, your immediate instinct might be to panic and reach for a chemical pesticide, but you can solve this problem in minutes using ordinary dish soap and a little bit of vegetable oil from your kitchen cupboard. The science here is completely mechanical rather than chemical because soft-bodied insects breathe through tiny pores in their bodies, and when you coat them in a gentle emulsion of soap and oil, it safely blocks those pores and completely stops the infestation in its tracks without leaving any toxic residue on your food. To prepare this simple household insecticide, mix 1 tablespoon of common liquid dish soap with 1 tablespoon of standard cooking oil, and then whisk that mixture thoroughly into 1 gallon of clean water until it forms a uniform, cloudy white liquid. For a small home garden or a collection of beautiful balcony pots, pour this liquid into a hand sprayer and spray it directly onto the pests, making sure to lift up the leaves since bugs love to hide on the undersides. For a farmer dealing with multiple rows of infested vegetables, this exact formula can be mixed in large spray tanks and applied thoroughly across the entire crop canopy. You should only apply this remedy during the cool, overcast hours of the early morning or late evening, because spraying an oily mixture onto leaves during the blazing heat of a midday sun can cause the sun's rays to scorch the foliage. Use it once a week until the pests are completely gone, and always give your plants a quick rinse with clean water a few days later to keep their breathing pores completely clear. But what if your problem is not tiny bugs, but rather larger, hungry visitors like wild rabbits, deer, or stray rodents that are treating your hard work like an open buffet? The solution to this frustrating problem is waiting inside your spice rack, and it comes in the form of ground cayenne pepper or hot chili powder. Animals that love to munch on fresh foliage have incredibly sensitive noses and taste buds, and the moment they catch a whiff of the natural capsaicin in hot peppers, they will turn around and find something else to eat. To build a long-lasting liquid barrier, simmer 3 tablespoons of cayenne pepper powder in a quart of water for about 10 minutes. Let it cool completely, strain it through a fine cloth so it does not clog your equipment, and add a few drops of dish soap to help the liquid stick to the slippery surfaces of the leaves. A home gardener can use a small spray bottle to coat the perimeter foliage of their garden beds, or spray it directly around the rim of their pots to create an invisible, spicy fence. A small farmer can scale this remedy up by using industrial chili extract mixed into large water tanks, spraying it along the entire border of their fields, where wild animals typically enter from the woods. Apply this protective spray once a week, or immediately after a heavy rainfall, because the water will naturally wash the spicy residue off the leaves and into the ground. As you begin to implement these simple, powerful remedies, it is absolutely vital to keep a core concept in mind, and that is the profound difference between quick maintenance and true, long-term soil establishment. When you first transition away from store-bought chemical fertilizers and start using natural kitchen remedies like molasses, eggshells, and coffee grounds, you have to realize that you are building an ecosystem from the ground up, and that beautiful process requires a small amount of patience. During the first few weeks, you might look at your garden beds and think that nothing dramatic is happening above the ground. But beneath the surface, the texture of your soil is changing, the microbial life is awakening, and your root systems are expanding deep into the earth. It is during this crucial establishment period that you must resist the urge to fuss over your plants, overwater them out of anxiety, or rush back to chemical sprays if you do not see overnight miracles. True, sustainable gardening is a beautiful partnership with time, and once your soil reaches that healthy, natural equilibrium, your plants will switch into an unbelievable performance mode, resisting pests naturally and blooming with a wild intensity that completely outlasts anything grown with synthetic chemicals. Thank you so much for spending your valuable time with me today and for opening your heart to these simple, earth-friendly ways of growing. If you haven't had a chance to do so yet, please hit that subscribe button as a genuine thank you for this community wisdom. And don't hesitate to share your location down in the comments section so we can celebrate how far our farming and gardening family truly reaches. Whether you are caring for a single green pot on a high-rise apartment balcony or managing a vast, beautiful field of crops under the open sky, please know that this space is built entirely for you. I cannot wait to see you in our very next video, where we are going to unlock a shocking, forgotten household liquid that instantly naturally accelerates root growth on any cutting in less than 24 hours. So keep your eyes peeled for that one, keep your hands dirty, and I will see you very